He said, okay, fix yourself. He often used to say, sit down here and think about what you did or what you said. And I used to sit down and cry. My thing was to cry. Every time I didn't know what to do, I used to just bawl, cry. He was very strict with controlling me and my feelings, and no, you have to be happy. Sit down here, be happy. Let's go. Don't do that. We will do that. Get up. Follow me. This, and I would just be like, okay.
Warning, listening to this podcast is going to make your marriage irresistible. Whether you're exhausted from carrying everything and you just want him to step up and be a real partner, or you're lonely and longing to feel close and adored again, that is totally fixable. I'm Laura Doyle, creator of the 6 Intimacy Skills. And for 27 years, I've been watching women go from burnt out and disconnected to having the passionate, easy marriage they always wanted. Love is learnable. The secrets are real. And this is where I teach them. I'm so glad you're here. Stay to the end for your Try It Tonight takeaway. Eva took a very fun step that brought her so much joy. She was practically bursting with pride telling me about it. Real women, real marriages. This is the Empowered Wife podcast. Eva, welcome to the Empowered Wife podcast. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm honored. Thank you.
So how did you know that your husband was the one? What attracted you to him?
Yes, I didn't know at the time. We met first at the Latino party, a long time ago, in a country where we both, were, foreign immigrants. And I was working in a language school at the time, and he's from a Latino country. So we ended up in this Latino party, and he was the center of attention. So I noticed that, and I was curious, but nothing happened. And then few years later, we ended up in a Latino party again. Same friend, common friend. But I didn't know anyone. I went with my friend and I didn't know anyone. And I thought, okay, well, let's go with them. And then suddenly he appeared with a couple more people. And I said to her, I said, wait, I know this person. So I went and I said, hi, nice to see you again. Do you remember me? And he said, no, I don't know. No. So I thought, oh my God, how embarrassing. Okay. So I said, bye. But then we ended up staying at the party. And then 2 hours later, he came and he tapped on my shoulder and he said, I remember you now. I know who you are. And I said, don't worry about it. It's okay. Then he said, no, I want to take you out for a drink to apologize, for not, remembering. And I said, no, it's okay. And my friend said, look, if he doesn't remember you, don't waste your time. So I said, okay, no. But then he waited until the end of the party. And when I was exiting, he came and he said, no, please give me your number. I really want. So I said, okay, this is my number, but don't worry about it. Really, it's okay. I didn't like him that much. And it was, no. And then he started asking me out for drinks, for a walk, and I was reluctant at the time. I was just recovered from my previous really breakdown, and I was happy on my own. I didn't want anyone, but I said to him, "Look, I'm going to be with my friends in this bar or nightclub. You can come." And he was coming with his friend, and that's until one day he said, well, I really want to invite you for dinner to this fancy restaurant. And I thought, oh, I never been there. And my friend said to him, just go. It's okay. If it doesn't work out, it's fine. Then I said, okay. And I really went for the dinner and see how the restaurant would be inside. And he was better off than me at the time. So he had a bit more money. And I knew that he's a little older too. So I said, okay, I'll go. Then we spent the best evening ever. He's so funny. He's so witty. He was telling me his stories. We clicked because we both lived in this third country, and he was foreign, I was foreign, and he said, I had problems with my English, and I related, and he was so funny. And then and then I thought, okay, I said to my friend, look, I like him. She said, okay, just, yeah, have a relationship, start. You never know. I mean, you can always say, no, sorry, it doesn't work out, but otherwise you will not know. And yeah, and that's how it started. I was at the time 28 and he was 33, and yeah.
Yeah. So he was really persistent about chasing you, which was fun. Feels nice to feel desired. And then when you were with him, he made you laugh. So yeah, I love it. And he wanted to take you out and treat you too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sounds like a great guy. So then you decide to get married.
So he quickly moved in with me. I had finally had my own place, and I didn't really want to leave. He invited me to live with him. I said no because I like my place, and he said no problem. I'll rent my place and I'll come and live with you. And that was probably within the next 6 months. And then we had 2 really good vacations in the following 6 months. That for me was like, I felt so spoiled. But I never imagined, that we would go to Canary Islands and this, and he would take care of everything. And okay. And then we had our second Christmas. I was going to my home country, backward and forward. And we were dating. He was not invited, but I decided to invite him to our Christmas, because it was becoming serious, and he proposed with the ring, and I didn't know, and I didn't know what to say, and my parents, my granddad, my grandma, everybody, they were just like, yes. And, and I said, yes. And then we got married the next year, and we had a big party with all our friends, and yeah, it was official then.
It was official. It was official. So you were taken off guard, but you wanted to marry him, it sounds like. And your family loved him. So
yeah, my mom said, look, she said, if you don't marry him, I'll marry him. She doesn't understand his language, but she felt that he was a good one. He was for me.
She could tell. Yeah. She could feel he was a good guy.
Yeah.
So sweet. I love it. Well, and then when did things start to go wrong? When did you start to notice there were some issues?
Yeah, things were very good for a very long time. We started living together, and then we actually we had a little crisis when I guess now I realize what's been happening. He's been listening to me when I was expressing my pure desires, but I didn't know at the time. One day we were in this stormy weather and gray and everything, and I just said to him, "Off, I'm so fed up with this country and this weather. I just hope for a sun." And 7 months later, we were moving to his sunny Mediterranean country, and I didn't want to move then. And he said, "But you told me, and I found a job," and I said, "Yeah, but I told you, but you don't have to listen to everything I say." And I only realized with the skills that he was listening. And then that was a crisis because I didn't want to go, but we then ended up coming, and it was great. We had few fantastic years, and I learned his language, his culture. He did his MBA. I finished my university degree. Very smooth. We had no kids yet. It was really, really good. And then we moved yet to another country, but that was conscious. I was happy for his job. And then I guess about 8 years down after we got married and that, he then decided to apply for a job in the States. And I didn't want. And he told me, oh, don't worry, it's just they will never take me. We don't talk about it until he got the job. But I jumped a little bit. In the meantime, we had our daughter who was then 18 months already. And I said, no, I cried all night when he told me. And I said, no, I don't want to go. You told me it's not serious. I never. And then he became really like controlling then. And he said, no, we will go and you will be happy. And I was, okay, I guess. And I didn't know how to not go. And then, of course, 3 months later, we moved in and I was there with my 18 years old, months daughter, and I didn't want, and I was resenting him, and then one day he told me, I'm going here, I'm trying really hard, I have a new job, we are in a new country, I have to make an effort. I come home and I see you, grumpy, whining, unhappy, accusing. Enough. I will buy you a ticket, you go whatever, but I will file custody, because that's how it works. And
oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I thought to myself, I was scared. So part of my problem was that I was always victimizing and I was always scared of him, afraid of everything. And he was feeling I was a victim and he was controlling me. More or less older brother towards father child. I was never responsible for anything. But so I thought I can't lose my child. We had been trying a couple of years to have children and we had one and that was it. And then I called I have a very good friend who knows him very well. And I said, look, this is happening. And she said, apologize and say, you didn't mean it. Stay, make an effort. Don't do anything. Don't go. Once you go, you don't know what will happen. Make an effort. Work for it. And that's what I did. And I said, look, I'm sorry. I'm very stressed. I didn't mean it. So he said, okay, fix yourself. He often used to say, sit down here and think about what you did or what you said. And I used to sit down and cry. My thing was to cry. Every time I didn't know what to do, I used to just bawl, cry. And he hated that. Don't cry. And I would cry. Father, child, I realize now. And yeah, we dragged on and he said, it will be only 2 to 3 years and don't worry, we'll go back to Europe. I promise you. I just need a career boost and I was just not happy. And then the drift happened. When we were in the States and I just started drifting. I didn't want to. I was just all the time unhappy and all the time, why we here? Little things. I never liked to argue because I knew I would always lose the argument, just like children, and he was very strict, with controlling me and my feelings and no, you have to be happy. Sit down here, be happy. Let's go. Don't do that. We will do that. Get up. Follow me. This, and I would just be like, okay,
Feels harsh and oppressive.
What can he do? I didn't want to feel responsible. I was not in my place. He had yet another person to look after. And I know he was doing all this for us. But I didn't
very accountable of you.
Give him any credit. Yeah. And so life went on, and 2 to 3 years, they passed, 4 years, 5 years, we're still there. I still don't like it. Hating myself, hating everything, complaining constantly to friends, to everybody I see. How is life? Horrible. I don't like it. I hated this. And he felt it. He knew. And then just, day, I am in touch through Facebook with many friends from high school, and I have this friend who said, "Well, I'm gonna be in your area in the States, on a conference. Do you want to have a coffee?" I said, "Oh my God, somebody that I know is coming. Yes, 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 yes." Because for me, States were very far from Europe, and somebody's coming, and of course I will have a coffee. And yes, I said yes. So we had a coffee, and I suppose the question was, how's life? And then I just started, blah. And then apparently he was supposed to be happily married, to everybody's knowledge. He wasn't. And then he started, and me. And then we just had I don't know, hour or hour and a half of complaining.
You had a common bond. You were both unhappy.
Ah, and then that's when the long distance affair started with my old school friend. And from then on, we used to call each other almost every day, and we just waited to tell each other what happened, how horrible he was or she was, and unhappy. But that I realized that didn't help, because I was winding myself up against my husband, who was then coming home from work, and then he would feel it, of course. He would feel it. And so that has continued for a good year and couple of months. He knew something was going on, but he didn't know exactly. And my friend was telling me, you can always come back to our country, and I'll help you establish. And I was working with the school at the time in my country, consulting them, and they liked my work so much. They said, "So if you would like to come back, we will offer you a job." And me, what did I do? I said, yeah, I would love to. Then was like, and how am I gonna tell him? I'm always scared. That was from my childhood fear. Don't, face difficult situations, steady on, just head down, carry on. And then what did I do? He was on a business trip, and I thought, okay, I'm going to tell him while he's on a business trip, because then he's not there to confront me personally. Very low hit. And then, of course, I told him, and all he said was, are you leaving me? What about our daughter? And I said, well, I guess she'll come with me and stay with me, since she was 6 at the time, and you will come and backward and forward. And he just put the phone down, and he said, we'll discuss this when I come home. And then now I'm laughing, because I have worked it out. It's fine now. But at the time I was so stressed. Then he came home a few days later, and that was January 2020, couple of months before pandemics. And then he probably started looking through my computer, my phone, for evidence what's going on. And we had the discussion, and he said, you are not going anywhere. I will file custody. This is not the plan. And I said, okay. So I knew I could not do it. Then I called the school, and I said, well, actually, no, thank you very much. Okay, this. But then he started digging in, and in the same time, I was still with this kind of long distance relationship. And then one day, even in the evening, he said, prove me that there's nobody. Prove me that there's nothing wrong. Take your computer. Here, give it to me. And he took the computer, my laptop, to open it, and I hit him in the hand. And then I jumped. And then I thought, oh my God, I hit my lowest point. He's taking the worst out of me. And I am not an aggressive person. I never hit anyone.
You're feeling some desperation. Fear. Very scary. Yeah.
Horrible. So I,
Hard.
so
Yeah.
I, so I went, it was 11 o'clock at night. Our daughter was sleeping. So I went out on the balcony. I closed the balcony and I thought, that's not good. You're half supposed to bring the best of you, not the worst. What's going on? What's going on? And then I come down and nothing happened. After that, I went to bed or something. Nothing is fine. But then in the next few weeks, he had still been looking through, I guess. There's nothing to find. Just he's been studying my friends and this and so it's all had a breaking point.
It sounds so painful, Eva. It sounds awful. I can imagine the stress.
I only was looking for ways to complain, to victimize myself, and I was all looking for evidence how bad he was, and I was taking this long distance affair as a way to pay him back. Every time we have a chat, I would be like, see, because you brought me here, I will, behind your back, complain.
It seems fair, right? He made you move to the United States. You didn't want to. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. So this is a painful time for both of you. You're both at a low, it sounds like.
Yeah, he changed jobs, but he changed jobs in the States again. And so he was at his best job ever that he could get. And I understood, but for me was like, yeah, but we are not going back. So you didn't keep your promise. And he's like, we need a job. We can't just go back. We need to have security, stability, and nothing for me was like, I didn't listen to any of that. It was all about, no, we need to go. You promised me, like a child, And he, like a father, was trying to put me on this little seat and say, okay, now sit down and think how you behave. Be happy. You have everything. And then it came when I hit the rock bottom.
Oh.
Can I tell you?
Please tell. I would love to hear.
So Friday the 13th, first day of pandemic's lockdown. So what happened is that my long distance affair had a conference again, and he said, okay, do you want to have coffee in the morning before I catch my flight back to Europe that day? And I said, yes. He said, okay, I'll come your way towards where we live. I'll take the metro. And what happened is that my husband was going down metro. He was coming up and he recognized him. My husband recognized him because he's been studying, and he also knows my friends from school. I mean, every time he comes to my country, we have drinks and sometimes. And then we have coffee, we sit down and talking, and then I have my husband ringing, and I didn't answer. After we had coffee, bye, everything, I picked up and I said, what's up? And he said, was so-and-so here? Are you having an affair with him? And I just said, yes. He said, I saw him coming up. We'll talk later. And so I said to my long distance affair, I called and I said, look, husband found out. He said, well, I'm leaving today. If you want, try to figure out, maybe you can leave him. If you come, I'll help you establish this and that, But I'm leaving. So he left. And couple of hours later, they announced lockdown in the afternoon. They said, pick your kids from school, pick your laptops from work, and stay in. And that's Friday the 13th. And I was working in the school part-time, but that day I was not working. So we ended up locked, and with him knowing, and with our daughter in there, we were...
Oh my gosh.
I can't tell you. I don't know how I survived. I'm not sure. And so the weekend passed. We pretended nothing happened during the day. And then we only would fight after our daughter goes to bed. We never fought in front of her. So, and then it was horrible. He was telling me all these things, like calling me names, and then we were looking at ways to separate. He said, I will not live with you. You cannot do that. You have to tell me in my face, that why did you do that? What did I do wrong? I'm paying for, and I was telling him, I said, look, I'm paying you back because you brought me here, Then he said, oh, this is horrible, I doing it for us, and oh my God, it was like not good. So we were looking for ways. He said, I have to move out, or you move out, or what we do, but then we couldn't. He couldn't even go to a hotel for one night because everything was locked. There were no flights. There were no nothing. And the insecurity on top of that, what's going on? We were alone in a different country. We were trying to work from home, figure out how you work from home. And then weeks passed, and it was really bad. We couldn't talk to each other much during the day. He said to me, I need to concentrate. I'm going to lose my job because of you, this is happening. I need to focus. I just started this job and now I am online. I don't know how to work. And you with all these things happening, like, help me. He was saying, help me. I was thinking, how can I help him? I felt I have to help myself first. And I said, I don't know. And then I started looking online, I started thinking, okay, I need to, I guess my self, survival instinct jumped in. And then I thought of, I need to survive. How do I survive this situation? Then I thought, okay, maybe meditation, let me see how that works. I was not like that before. I did some free courses, self-development courses and then they started talking about gratitude, be grateful, 3 things before you go to bed. I was like, oh my God, this is another world for me. I started growing a little.
Focusing on your gratitude. Yeah, and meditating. So, and at this point, did you wanted to end your marriage? It sounds like you wanted to move and end your marriage. Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't sure because I was scared for our daughter, and I thought to myself, okay, this is happening. It's because I am also very passionate about medieval literature, and I know in the olden times when 2 people from the big city or the village or the area, 2 important people had a fight or argument, they used to lock them in a castle or in a big mansion until they figure out a decision or until one kills the other.
Oh.
And that kept turning in my head. I said, okay, the universe locked us down until we figure it out. I have to figure this out.
Wow. I see. I can see. So you kept thinking, so you thought this is for us to work out or one of us to kill each other, either one of those 2. Wow. So you started personal development.
So I started personal development. I thought my instinct was I need to help myself, because if I get depressed or down, I cannot help anybody. And that was just me thinking. Now I understand it's right, but that nobody could tell me. I just figured it out somehow. And then I started writing these letters, and I started writing the angry letters, and I started developing, working with my family tree, finding out my values, my character, trying to figure out why did I not want to move. Why was I so restricted in choices? What happened? Where did that come from? And then I started pulling all these things about me out, and many things came out. Of course, he didn't know. And then 10 months after that, a friend of mine told me, because I only told 2 friends about what happened and the real affair. And he told me, I'm not going to tell anybody because that's shameful. And one of my friends told me, look, there's Coach Mila, and she's doing some kind of coaching for women, for developing and growing in the relationship. And since you are like so, bad at the moment, you might as well listen to her. She's online and it's all in your language. And I was open for everything. I said, okay, how do I do that? Like this, okay. And I just jumped in, and I remember I was at work in a classroom. After that, I locked myself, and I said, okay, hi, like, tell me, what is this? And she said, this is how you will transform your marriage without your husband's active participation. And I thought, okay, if you say so, I don't know. If you say so, what do I have to do? And she said, okay, this is this structure, these skills, this. And I said, I'll give you 100 days.
Okay.
To you and to myself, because I really don't know how can I change him. He's so horrible to me. He's like all these things.
Yeah.
But then I thought, okay, I'm gonna give 100 days, but in these 100 days, I'm gonna give everything. Whatever she tells me, I'll do it. I am very disciplined, and I'm a very good student.
Wow.
And
You went
then,
all in.
yeah, and then she said, okay, this comes from Laura Doyle. This is this. And I said, okay, let me go. Then I started, first thing, I started with self-care, and I thought, okay, what can I do? And then I started walking, and then podcast, listening to all these stories. And I remember I was crying to some of them, and I was thinking, oh my God, I'm so relating to this.
You're one of us. So
Yes.
yeah. So you're doing self-care. You're walking and listening to podcasts, and they are moving to you. And this, yeah. So did it make you feel happier?
Oh, so she had structured that every week you have a different skill in the course. And so she would give us the theory and then would say, go practice. And I just went and practiced everything. And then the next week she would say, okay, tell me your wins. And I had a list of wins. I just started shifting straight away. Go and apologize. I go and apologize. Use these words. I use these words. Self-care. I was like, okay, what can I do? I joined yoga. We were still kind of locked down, but not really. And then there was this free yoga at the park. And I thought, okay, I would never do yoga, I thought. But then I did. And then I liked it. I was walking, and I was listening, and I was doing everything. And then I was happier, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna do it for myself. I want to develop myself.
Yeah. So you were developing yourself to be a happier person. How did that affect your home life?
Um, so I decided, okay, I'm gonna use the skills, and my first goal is to gain some power in this relationship, not to be the child, but to find my place in the family structure, to be a partner. And then my second goal was not to have arguments. I didn't want to cry anymore or feel pressure or tension. No. And I was just, every time I was looking for that was in my mind. And then how can so the duct tape came because I trained myself not to cry because I was just, he tells me something, I cry. He gets nervous. I cry more. And I thought, no, I will. It took me 6-7 months. With Mila, Coach Mila, I was for 1.5 years, very good student. Every week I would show up and I saw it working for me. Because the arguments stopped. I was calmer in a way of, I started understanding why I was doing these things to him, and that I found out that I was more settling type person, routine follower, and he's more adventurous type, and there's nothing wrong. And then I understand that he doesn't hate me. He's doing everything for us, not to upset me. Started figuring things out. And then one day, just probably a few months after, I like every evening I would make dinner, and because I like cooking and experimenting, and I would just say, okay, do you like my dinner? What do you think? And they both, my daughter, yes, very nice. And then I decided I will stop asking. As long as I like it, I'm grateful, and that I could make this. And if they say something, until one day he said, oh, thank you for dinner.
He did. You didn't ask, and he said thank you. He started being grateful.
And then my daughter looked at him and said, yes, Mama, thank you for dinner. Said, okay. And then I was told, they thank you, you thank back, and I said, oh, thank you guys for appreciating my dinner. It's important for me. And then we continued, and then things calmed down, after 1.5 years. And until one day, I remember he hugged me and just, he said, oh, come on. It's all good. Don't worry about it. It's all in the past. And I just felt safe, I thought, okay, we'll be all right, I thought to myself.
Oh my gosh. You were locked in the castle for 1.5 years, and then you made up.
And then, this for me was the light in the tunnel. I thought, okay, I guess we are not going to separate. He didn't want, I didn't want. I just wanted to go back to where we were. And I didn't know whether that would be possible with me being the one having an affair. And he's not. And we were still, of course, in the States, and life carried on, and I accepted it, and I understood that I have to be happy by myself. I have to make myself happy. I have to find ways to like it there, and I actively worked towards that, towards growing.
Wow. So you made yourself happy. You created a culture of gratitude in your home, and it sounds like you restored the emotional safety in your house until this momentous day. I'm sure you'll never forget it, when he gave you this hug and said, we're going to be okay. Like, you knew something had changed, and you knew you did it. That must have felt amazing, right? Like, from this deep, dark hole, of we're going to separate. And I don't know if, it probably didn't even feel like an option to repair to that level, but you did it.
He was telling me in the lowest point, he was telling me, I don't need you. I will find a much better woman for our daughter than you. And I was so scared. And I knew that he could do that. And I will destroy you and die. And from that coming to, it's all in the past. Forget about it.
Oh my God.
Then I thought, okay. And of course I was rushing every week to coach Mila on our group sessions, and I just couldn't wait to share the wins. She starts with the wins of the week, and I'm proud to say these and small things, and he felt. He doesn't know, of course, until today. He doesn't know. I've been with you and with Coach Mila, and he knows I'm translating some book, and he doesn't know about all the other readings and courses and digging into my personal self. So it's all me.
It was all you. So you knew you were doing it. I mean, this is where I always feel like I would feel smug. I feel smug, like so proud. I guess proud, right? Like you transformed your home in a remarkable, extraordinary way, right? This is not the usual outcome from the kind of breakdown you had. A lot of marriages do end because of that kind of breakdown, but not yours, Eva. It's amazing, right? I love it.
Yeah, I didn't know how it will go, Laura, and I did ask Coach Mila. I said, look, how do you guarantee that we will still together, And she said, I don't know. You have to figure out. Then she said, everyone is expert in their relationship. The first time I heard that, and I thought, yeah, okay, so there is no guarantee, but I wanted to do it for me. I wanted to be my best version of everything. I started inside and out also to transform. And then if we are together, we are together. If not, then I don't know. I would have had to figure it out.
Yeah. But you becoming your best self changed the culture in your home. It changed your marriage.
Yeah. Definitely. And I fixed or improved my relationship with my parents. I got rid of the good friends that were telling me he's horrible, divorce him, he's not worth it. And I have now a small group of friends who really support me, and we support each other. And of course, I follow Coach Mila in the social media, and now with the book. I'm translating your book, The Empowered Wife, into my language, and I'm not only translating, I'm analyzing, and I'm reminding myself. It's I don't know.
You look so happy.
The best.
So, and what is your marriage like now?
Now is a sunny summer day with a little breeze, smelling nice and fresh, and occasional clouds that go out very fast. I guess I learned how to quickly reestablish balance, and I realized that it's up to me. I was expecting for a long time that he would reestablish the balance, because since he's older, and I don't know. But now I realize that the emotional power is with us women, and they are good at other things. And he follows, Laura. He follows, yes. So before he would get angry or sulking, and then and then I would not know how to do it. So I would get, and then we would not talk for a day or 2 or 3. But now, minutes or just maybe hours at most. And he's passed and he falls. He's amazing. He's amazing because obviously, he's receptive to my lead, I guess, and he likes it. And there is no talk about the other person for a long time now, maybe 3-4 years. And we are back in Europe. Last year we moved. Yes. And
how did this happen?
when I stopped nagging, and when I finally accepted, I thought I'm gonna find my place here and I'm gonna be happy. And then the last year we stayed, I was happy. And I stopped nagging, I stopped mentioning, and even I told him, look, even if we stay here, I'm okay with it. It's fine.
Whoa.
And he felt safe, probably to now what's happening is that my daughter and I are back to his home country, and he travels. So he has the trust on me to leave me alone. So he does commuting now. Yeah. That's where we are. And
That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. From where you were.
I just want to tell every single woman, it's possible. It's possible.
Wow. Yeah. Incredible. I have chills. Eva, that sounds incredible. So, and it feels light. It feels like a summer day with a breeze. So that tension is gone. Or because no marriage is perfect, right? Mine's not perfect, and when something happens, it's short. It's not a long time. It's short. And when he's traveling, there's trust. There's trust there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I gained the trust to be left alone after an affair, emotional. He's trusted me that I can be here alone and I will not escape. I will not go anywhere. I will not take our child. It's all good. And it's true. And it's true.
Wow.
I can't be happier. I had flowers the other day before he left. He actually left, and he left me flowers with a card saying, I will miss you. This is for you. And I have text messages and I don't know. I never thought that it could happen. And I guess it happens when you least expect it, when you demand, they don't give, right? But when you are just happy and relaxed and let them be and give them space, and I guess they just like it and act on it. So what else? I have some other wins.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Tell me. Okay. I love to hear your win.
I don't know what else was a win. So yeah, well, I have trouble to express my pure desires, right? Because I don't know exactly what I want, and now I learn that if you say, it might happen. So be careful what you wish for. And I expressed a desire to go to Edinburgh for my birthday with my best friend and her daughter, and I have the ticket, and I have the hotel, and I have the wish for enjoy your time. And so we're gonna go next week. And before, I wouldn't know. I would even be afraid to ask, because in case he will say no, that's too expensive, or why should you go? Or I don't trust you to go. There is nothing like that now.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you express your desire for that?
Oh, just with a little vulnerability and straight in the eyes. I said, look, I really like to go, I like to see the castles. And he doesn't like to see the castles. I am more medieval. And I said, I would love to go with you, but maybe it's not gonna be your thing. So I'd like to go with my friend. And I thought to myself, okay, if he says no, then, I guess next time or another time. And then he said, so when were the dates? What dates were you talking about? And so I said, oh, those and those. He said, yes, here for me and my daughter. We both going with my friend and her daughter. Yeah.
So he adores you. He's cherishing you and treating you.
Yeah.
And do you feel in love with him?
I do, I was reading your book and you were saying when, when you're feeling low and that, think about what was it that you liked in him on the first place when you were dating. And for a long time, I just have forgotten nothing. I have nothing. He's just irritating.
Yeah.
And now he's back. He's funny. He's witty. He's smiling. He likes to be with me. Every time he says, oh, I'm so happy. Thank you, universe, for being together. And he over the top like it.
Now you're like, I remember why I like this guy. And yeah, so it sounds like it's kind of back to where it was when you first got married.
Exactly. So we made a full circle. We passed the crisis and now we are back. I don't know if we can get any better than that because we are at the starting point where it was better all the time and except I stepped in my family role now, as a partner. And I see that, with him. It's been probably 3-4 years now since he hasn't treated me like the child with his authoritarian voice. And I have not had a moment, or maybe very little, where I would just cringe, sometimes you have these moments and it's all about the self-care. If I feel tired, then the old person comes and I would say something and he would know and then he would attack. But then that quickly goes because I realize now, I know, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm the old version. I need to stand up and I do.
Wow.
And I assume and I assume what I have done and I apologize or not. It depends what it is and I just carry on and he follows.
Wow. So he'll talk to you like you're a child and then you apologize to him. You find something on your paper that you want to apologize for.
Yes. So if I'm not the best version and I say something as the old me, something, a bad comment or feeling victimized again or something like, oh, it's because of you or I don't know or you never tell me, something childish like that. He then attacks, because he feels. And then I realize, oh, okay, this is because I did that. And then I quickly stand up and shake myself and say, oh, no. I cannot have an argument. That was horrible. No. And so I would have to call, apologize, or I just leave. Sometimes I just leave the room because I don't know what to do. My thing is to leave and go and close myself and
you figure it out.
Never faced.
So you've got the power to stop these arguments and to restore the peace all by yourself. It doesn't matter. Like he might say something that's attacking, but it doesn't matter. You can still stop it. You don't sit there and cry. like you used to.
I don't cry. No, not anymore.
And you don't feel oppressed. You don't feel like he's the dad anymore, it sounds like.
No, for a long time now, for a very long time. We partners and the balance the balance is restored. Our daughter feels that we are solid. And we did that with the move. When we moved here, we felt solid, and that's why she felt good about moving. Of course, she was sad about her friends, and she's 12 now. So we were wondering how will that affect her, but she saw us confident, and she's excited.
Oh my gosh.
It's I don't know. I never thought it would be good, and that's why I'm so glad I'm sharing this. Um, because I'm just not the old one, and that's thanks to Coach Mila and all your skills. It's amazing.
Well, congratulations. This is totally amazing. Your transformation is incredible. It sounds like instead of complaining and focusing on what's wrong, you've been very disciplined and kind of an overachiever on finding the wins, and it's changed your whole family. And now the whole culture has changed. Your family is grateful now, and that's all you're doing. This is all because Eva decided to choose gratitude, and now they choose it as well. And then your daughter, it sounds like she's happy and thriving. Yeah, how do you think it's affected her that you did all this?
In a very positive way. She was 6 when I was in my lowest, and she probably, I don't know if she understood or anything, but she was my inspiration as well to grow, because I didn't want her to see me miserable and complaining all the time. And since I started developing, I understand how kids pick patterns, and I didn't know all these things, and I understand why am I that, why am I like this, because I picked the patterns of my mother, and I wanted to change that. And now she's so good. She's thanking, she's grateful, she follows my pattern, of course. So I could have been the horrible mother slagging off her dad, or I could have been the the adored mom. And she follows that, and she she's very, very good. She's very good. She's amazing.
Must feel so good to know you're the kind of role model for her that you would like to be, the adored mom. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. Sometimes I do want to say something bad, about him in front, and then I stop myself and I say, okay, no, don't do it, because she's half him. And if I say something, she can take it as an accuse to her as well. But I didn't know all these things before. And I'm so grateful for, in a way, I call this long-term affair Angel, because thanks to him, I was able to fall so that I can find out all these things. If things were just normal and horrible in the drift, I probably would have stayed like this until now.
Yeah. Oh gosh, Eva, that's an amazing perspective, and I can relate to you too. I'm grateful for the breakdown, because otherwise I wouldn't have gone on this self-development journey like you have. So, and I love, you have so much wisdom. This is such an incredible thing that you've done. And I think a lot of women feel very hopeless when they are where you were, right? And what if a woman wants to know, what should she do? Like, she feels like a child and she's spending a lot of time crying and she's very miserable. She has to be somewhere she doesn't want to be because of her husband. And she wants what you have now, where she feels adored and loved, and that things are back to the beginning of the relationship. And she's a good role model for her daughter. And she, where should she start? What's your tip for her?
Oh, if this lady is listening to your podcast or watching means that she's already met you or heard of you. So I would just say, I don't know, give 100 days to Laura Doyle. Give 100 days and see what happens. And things will happen. Is guaranteed.
Now there's a guarantee. Yeah, I love it. I love it. That's true. Maybe it was always guaranteed. Yeah. 100 days was very effective for you with it. And you threw yourself into it completely. And now look at you. It's incredible. So what would you say to Eva if you could go back in time and tell her what you know now? What would you say to her?
Oh, girl, stop crying. Wipe your tears. Stand up, shake yourself, deep breath, and start your first step towards your responsible life. You are a married woman. You can't be sulking and wiping your nose. Get up, take responsibility. That's what I would do. But first I would hug her, probably big hug, and say, I love you. I hug you, but now it's time to, get real with world. And she will listen because she's very disciplined.
That's right. She's very disciplined. That served her so well. And I love that she gets the hug first because you didn't know before, right? You didn't know. This was all you had. And once you knew better, you did a lot better. And I just hear the empowerment in being able to tell yourself to stand up and stop wiping your nose. It feels better. This feels better to be able to be proud of how you're showing up. And I'm very impressed, Eva. And I want to congratulate you and give you my Best Wife Award. Here it is.
Oh my God. Thank you so much. Really?
Absolutely. It's completely amazing what you've created in your family from the brokenness that you started with and how helpless and hopeless you felt to create this beautiful, thriving family that's so connected. There's so much trust. There's so much safety and there's so much love. I think the world needs more women like you.
Oh, thank you so much. I accept it, and I would share it with all the other women that are brave enough to even start and just break the cycle and do one thing different.
Yes. Yes. Well, you were very brave. In fact, you make it sound easy, but I know it took a lot of courage to do what you did to transform your family into the beautiful one that you have now. And it's very inspiring. So thank you so much for sharing your whole story with us, Eva. I just loved hearing it.
Was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. I just wish all women could have a just a little relationship with all you do. And that's why I hope that the book goes very well in my country, and every woman before marries in the early years, she should read it, and everyone can filter something from the book for themselves. I just feel that women get married without knowing these things, and that's why they suffer, and it's not fair, and divorces should not happen.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I love your dedication to the mission to end world divorce in a very real way with this translation. And by sharing your story, you're making a big contribution.
Thank you. Thank you. It's all from the heart. I wish you all the luck, and you're doing great with ending the world divorce. It works. And thank you, Laura.
You've been with me here every week learning the secrets that happy wives know. So I want to invite you to come practice them in person with me at the Adored Wife Weekend. It's 3 days in Anaheim, California with me, our coaches, and a whole room full of women just like you. We're going to laugh until it hurts. We're going to dance to the 80s, and we're going to put these skills to work live. Your marriage is going to feel it. October 9th through the 11th, early bird pricing ends July 24th. So save $100 and register right now at adoredwifeweekend.com and come practice with us. I'll save you a seat. Your try it tonight takeaway is sharing a win. One of my favorite parts of Eva's story was how excited she got talking about her wins. Every week, her coach would ask to hear some wins, and Eva couldn't wait to share them. She went for a walk. She tried yoga. She apologized. Small things that she did to improve on herself and her relationship. Every week, she kept collecting wins like little seashells on the beach. And did you hear what happened? She describes her marriage as a sunny summer day with a breeze. Her husband now leaves her flowers with little love notes. And when Eva was telling me her story, she was laughing, radiant and glowing with pride for what she had created. What a win! So, how are you winning with the 6 intimacy skills? Did you express gratitude to him for taking out the trash? Did you take a self-care drive with the music on and the windows down? Did you receive a compliment with a smile and a thank you? Share it with a girlfriend or a coach or in our Adored Wives space on Circle. Because when you start looking for wins, you might be surprised by how many you continue to find. Are you ready to celebrate? Yeah? Okay, then go, go, go.